I mean, he kept Spider-Man a secret for years. He just keeps it a secret that he's a cannibal.
There's no way you can keep it a secret.
Well, she just stays in her room.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Back-ish. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
We're back in the Versiverse, but forgivably, it's the last one, which is also hilariously the first one. We've talked on record about the Marvel Universe versus insert character's name here, and I think I've gone on record as saying that each one we talked about was the first or the last one, and I've been wrong every single time. So let's set the record straight, okay? The first ever Marvel Universe versus story written by Jonathan Mayberry was the episode we're doing right now, Marvel Universe versus Punisher.
Okay.
The next one, 1 year later, was the Marvel Universe versus Wolverine.
Okay.
Then, the final one in 2012 was the Marvel Universe versus the Avengers. And here's the timeline. Marvel Universe versus Punisher introduces you to the concept that Jonathan Mayberry created in the Versiverse and also ends it. Marvel Universe versus Wolverine is technically a prequel or an elaboration from Wolverine's perspective of the events that are glossed over in Marvel Universe versus Punisher.
Like, yeah, it all happened, and I was there, but you're missing some stuff.
You missed some stuff. And also, it is a button at the end of Marvel Universe versus Punisher. You see the end from Punisher's perspective. And it's technically the end of the story, but the universe keeps rolling on, and we'll see kind of where it ends up, but still is unsatisfactorily ended with Wolverine. And then you have Marvel Universe versus the Avengers, which will further elaborate on events you see in Marvel Universe versus Punisher, and also does not conclude satisfactorily, and also takes place between Punisher and Wolverine. And that was the final series that came out during the Versiverse.
You don't end in the middle.
No, but that's where the most interesting stuff is happening. And
that's where the beef is.
That's where the beef is.
Sandwich.
That's actually that's not a bad analogy. I mean, that is the juicy part of the sandwich. I mean, theoretically.
So when you said it begins and ends with this, you didn't mean that the sequence of events ceases here because it continues.
It does technically continue with Wolverine,
but it is
that's because they
end of a
made
story.
it continue.
Yeah, they add a little bit at the end of this story with Wolverine to show you further than Marvel Universe Punisher goes.
I see. Okay.
But Punisher wouldn't know that because he wasn't there.
He wasn't there, right, okay.
So we're actually going to get the full actual story of Marvel Universe versus in Marvel Universe versus Punisher. Now, here's the reason we're doing this episode. Because I am a completist. I loathe this universe. And I think I hate it. I think I hate the book. I think I hate the story. I think I hate the intent and tone. I think it's grimdark for no reason. It's like trying to capitalize on Walking Dead without truly understanding it. I think it's gross, and I think it's actually a little mean-spirited. Maybe it's because Spider-Man is in it, and he is just reduced into a one-dimensional supervillain. But furthermore, we've talked about 2 out of 3 volumes on this show, and no one on the couch has enjoyed them.
Right.
You're not going to love it now that we're doing the first volume. Also with an unlikable protagonist like Frank Castle, who is just human misery manifest.
No, he's all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, he's only going to get more fun. It would be actually more interesting if humanity descended into cannibalism and Frank was like, finally.
Yes.
Right, like he's like, oh, turns out I've always been a psychopath.
Now it's my time.
Yeah, like all I wanted is to do
murderers everywhere.
I just wanted to be the Punisher without the law getting on my ass.
Right.
Now
there
I
is no
can.
law.
And now I have the moral high ground.
And I have the moral high ground,
now
which I've
I'm
always
the
been
good
chasing.
guy.
Yeah.
I've never had that, ever.
Every Punisher fan's like, how dare you? Well, go check out our Jason Aaron episode.
Oh,
and that's all I want to say.
He starts the plague? Did we know that?
Yes, that was actually referenced. I also believe that the events we see in Wolverine and Avengers are contradicted in Punisher because Mayberry clearly didn't plan for a trilogy.
Right, it was just supposed to be this.
It's just this. And it's actually kind of purer and might be better because it's this one idea, but also I think I'd enjoyed Wolverine more than Punisher because Wolverine at least cares about stuff.
Yeah, because the protagonist
He's
is
the
a more
protagonist.
sympathetic character.
Right, but
Yeah.
like there's stuff in here where I'm like, did that even happen? So feel free to rummage through Mayberry's old laundry
I can't remember
and see if we can
a single fucking
compare
thing.
anything, because it's just a misery fest. And like it's weird appropriation. You know, see like Hulk decides to form a tribe and he puts on like a Native American headdress and you're like, you're 10 miles away from where that's supposed to be. But whatever. But it's cool.
Like, I just think it
looking.
looks cool.
It just looks rad. And it's like,
I'm in Lord of the Flies.
right. Like, okay. You know, children would be forced to read that.
Yeah, no
No
child
one on
actually
earth
wanted one
ever
to
went,
read.
oh, Lord of the Flies, what's that about? Read the back and go, I'm in. No. They read it because they're either mandated to or they weren't, and so they want to see what they missed. It's like the only reason I would ever read Brave New World, because there were 2 classes in my school. One class read Brave New World, the other read 1984. Thank God I was on the 1984 group. You know, because on one hand, I was part of an iconic, world-affecting piece of literature. And on the other, we got orgy porgies. I don't even know what the hell that means. But I do know that if you make a bunch of mid-teenagers read Brave New World and it has orgies in them, that's going to be the thing they focus on.
I never read either of those books.
Really? You never read 1984? No. Dude, it would take you like a day.
Oh, yeah?
It's like a
very
novella.
long.
It's like Catcher in the Rye. Like, in terms of its length.
I was going to say, I hated
Not-
Catcher in the Rye.
I loathe Catcher in the Rye.
That book sucks.
That is garbage. And Salinger doesn't suck.
No, it's well written.
It is well written.
It's just miserable to read.
Yeah. Holden Caulfield is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of him.
Yeah. I don't really like reading books about people who are a piece of shit.
No, I don't.
Well, we're about to.
Which is probably why I'm not going to like this book.
Probably not. I mean, it's Punisher, though. You know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Now, Ben commented on the cover. I honestly think that Punisher wearing a biohazard logo on his chest instead of a skull is brilliant. And when I say brilliant, I mean as brilliant as you can get when you're coming up with an idea for Punisher having a new logo on his shirt that isn't a skull.
Was he
He did not do
looking
this.
through
No,
the,
this is interpretive.
Like, oh,
He does not change his
He doesn't
clothes.
change his shirt.
No, it's just, it tells you what the
That'd
story
be
is
funny
about.
if he took a minute to like, I gotta
gotta
find a
change it up.
topical shirt.
Well, I'm not
a
fighting
biohazard
crime
situation.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not punishing people. I'm
fighting-
curing them of their life.
I didn't realize the skull was the punishment.
Right. Well, the
skull
skull is
is-
the memento mori, which is a representation of death, whereas the biohazard is because he's fighting
A
virus.
biohazard.
a biohazard, the virus. They're not zombies. They're
Right.
insane cannibals.
Yes. Yes.
What's the difference? The difference is I can selectively have characters who have the disease behave in different ways, inconsistently, and no one can hold my feet to the fire because it doesn't matter, and I made it up.
Well, the virus affects people in different ways.
That's exactly right, and it will be incredibly inconsistent and has nothing to do with anything.
It's a different strain of the virus. You know, it mutated.
Sure. They don't get into it, and thankfully, because you have a numbskull like Frank Castle running around, he ain't gonna investigate.
Right.
That said, they do investigate in Wolverine and stuff, but like,
Yeah.
who cares?
Yeah. What I like about this cover is actually the back cover,
Yeah.
where it's Frank standing on a pile of skulls and a scantily clad woman. I assume this is an homage with the woman clutching him.
Yeah, but it
Frazetta
literally happens
piece.
in the book too.
What?
It's Mary Jane.
It's Mary Jane?
Yeah, of course. Don't worry, she's not interested in Frank. She just does that for no good reason.
I was gonna say, is it a movie? Are they shooting a movie?
Yeah,
Right.
she's posing for a picture that nobody took.
That's right.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All style and no substance. That should have been the name of the book.
Marvel Universe vs. Punisher.
All right. Let's get into it.
Let's jump into it. It's written by Jonathan Mayberry, with art by Goran Parlov. We're already past the outbreak and the declination of society. Presumably we're like 1,000 days in or something, because Frank.
Oh yeah, it says day 1813.
Right, but I'm like, it's your war journal. You've been doing the war journal since you started being Punisher. So it must be a new war journal, his biohazard war journal or something, or the New World War journal. It's not the year 2011 anymore. It's the year 1.
Right. Of the second age.
Yes.
The Frank age.
Yeah, the age of the Punisher. That's a good name for a book. So Frank is doing his thing. He's just hanging around New York, hunting, characters with colorful costumes and blowing them away.
Oh, it's cool. It's I Am Legend.
Yes.
I was just thinking,
Oh
like,
my God.
It's I Am Legend. Like, the fact they're talking to him, I'm
It
like,
is
that's I Am Legend.
100% I Am Legend. It is I Am Legend to a actionable degree. Because at the end, it's
they're like building a society. Like, no, this is the world,
dude,
now.
it's much worse. But I actually do appreciate. I think I would like I Am Legend better if Punisher was the star of it, because Punisher would be like, nah, like he wouldn't be like, Although the movie, it's a
movie's another thing.
It's another thing.
Yeah,
it's a good-looking movie.
it is a good-looking movie.
Until the
Did you ever read the book?
Up. No, I never read
It's
the book.
not good. I did not like it.
There is a illustrated graphic novel version of the book that I've heard is better.
Okay, that would be better.
Yeah. So Frank's been kicking it around in Manhattan, just shooting colorful characters, being hunted by Deadpool, who also has the virus. And don't worry if you were like, man, that seems like it's kind of in media res. Well, in one of the other volumes, we see that happen. We see how Deadpool gets the virus, hides it from his friends, becomes a cannibal, but
Right.
also is kind of like playing both sides. It's very interesting if you like that kind of thing. Here, it's just, it'd be kind of cool if Deadpool was hunting Punisher, and that Punisher has been killing and then dismembering Deadpool multiple times during the 1800 days that he's been war journaling.
Right.
So you're like, all right, whatever. So Deadpool's been hunting Frank. Frank's been killing him. And actually, I don't mind the commentary about where he's like, I've killed him so many times. I've buried him. I burned him. Maybe pieces this time. Like, maybe that'll fix
I
it.
think I would have tried Pieces well before 35.
I would have.
Maybe number 2 would have been Pieces.
It would have been pieces and crematoriums.
Right. Yes.
Like, maybe ashes. How about
Right.
that?
Did you try burning him? Oh no, he did say he burned him.
He burned him,
but
but
maybe
like,
not enough.
He burned him in like a fire.
I lit him on fire.
I
That
put him in
doesn't
a
do it.
barrel and it set the barrel on
Yeah,
fire.
well, there's
That
too
is
much
not the
left.
same thing.
Just stick him in a rocket, shoot him into space.
Yeah, but
Oh
he's gonna
yeah,
have
we
to,
could
like,
definitely
find
operate
one.
rockets in the apocalypse.
So he does that. He splits them up, puts them into bags, starts like putting them all over different places. And through his colorful commentary, you get like indications of other characters that you would have liked to have seen, like Daredevil, where he's like, I caught Daredevil eating a deer in Washington Square Park, so I put 6 rounds into him. You know, 1 killed him, and then I let out some steam because I never liked Daredevil. And I'm like,
Meanwhile, it's just like,
Okay.
I was just hunting a deer.
right. Like
I was fine.
Fine. I'm just hungry. I can imagine though, you know, maybe not eating them raw. You know, it's not like he was just eating a deer.
He's got a bib on.
Yeah, got him. How did we get here? Well, let's go back. Let's get the context, which we will also see in at least one other volume, if not both other volumes, where Spider-Man and Rhino are fighting it up, and their fight, you know, crescendoed in Madison Square Garden in the middle of a sporting event. People like cheering for Spider-Man until Spider-Man like opened up Rhino's indestructible armor somehow with ease. Maybe it's the virus.
Like it's just a suit.
Yeah, like
but
it's a suit.
Right.
And then started eating the Rhino on national TV. And you know, the supers grabbed Spider-Man, they did their tests, and people weren't even sure if it was like a thing. Maybe Spider-Man just kind of went nuts and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
Until the Blob went to a Chinese restaurant and ate everyone in it. Colbert made an off-color joke about it until a bus dropped a bunch of kids off at the West Nyack Mall, and then they unleashed hell in that mall, and these kids ate everybody. Colbert stopped making jokes after that. I'm like, all right.
I don't think you would have made jokes after the first one, but okay.
I don't know.
About a person eating an entire restaurant full of people?
Yeah, no, yeah, probably not.
Probably not. That's the kind of thing that only seems kind of funny in a comic book.
Yeah.
Because of the Blob the Blob, he eats people.
Well,
But if
and-
he was a real person.
Well, it was a
who
Chinese
really ate
restaurant. The
people-
joke is he's just going to be hungry again in an
That
hour.
is the joke,
that
yeah.
is the joke, yeah.
Snare drum. Frank did team up with other heroes at one point to try and stem the tide. You know, when
Sure.
things got worse, he teamed up with Wolverine and Captain America. And in fact, Captain America succumbed, and Frank had to put one behind his head. That's in the other volumes.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's actually a little better. And this is just kind of a grim what-if story. Frank killed Captain America.
Oh, they
all
like
that
one
said.
panel.
mention it.
Yeah, they mention it.
Yep.
We see it.
Oh, he's alongside Wolverine right now.
Exactly. No, I'm
Okay.
saying like all those
Nice.
things are alluded to and then paid off in more expanded volumes. I believe Marvel Universe versus Avengers, we see it to its fullest degree. Although I think we see Captain America get killed by Punisher in all 3 of them. We see that like then people started breaking off and making tribes. You know, like the Thing and Thor showed up at one point and like killed a bunch of gods and then left. And I'm like, no, he didn't. He killed Hawkeye and then he left in his Marvel. That was the like hilarious, stupid, miserable ending. His Night of the Living Dead ending for Marvel Universe versus Avengers. But that's not referenced here. I don't know why Frank wouldn't have noticed that, but whatever. So we also have the survivors and people who are naturally immune, and how did this all come about? And basically Frank stops what he thought was a drug deal, and then it turns out that it was some kind of a bioweapon exchange, and then he shot up the area, and the case that was supposed to have contained the bioweapon wasn't actually in a case. It was on the body of one of the traffickers, and so when he fired his guns into the dude, it exploded all over him, and he got like a concentrated dose, and then he heaves into the river or into the drainage area of that warehouse, and then some of that other stuff got into the river as well. Frank heaving the infection is in all the interpretations of this Versaverse universe.
Okay.
And so it's just like, I don't know why it's so important that we see Frank Castle like throws up because he got exposed to this thing. But in any case, it makes Frank completely and utterly immune to the virus. Now also, there are survivors in this story who are also immune to the virus, but not because they had exposure to the concentrated dose. So it's completely
just for
inconsistent.
no reason.
It's for no good reason whatsoever. So you could have just had it be that Frank caused the outbreak
And happened to be
immune, but no, let's make it that he is basically like the carrier or some kind of like a maybe solution, but we never also have the characters do anything with that. I believe Frank does give his blood to some eggheads at one of the other volumes,
Yeah,
but in
that's
this
right.
story, it's not in.
Yeah, didn't Reed Richards try to do
Yeah, they
something in the North Pole or some shit?
Yeah, that's right. The North Pole is where the heroes all end up.
Yeah, he mentions that Sue Storm suffocates her children after
Yeah.
a while, I guess to spare them or
I
whatever.
guess to
but
spare
like,
them.
But Reed Richards is at the North Pole. Why don't you just take him to the
Well,
North
that's
Pole?
later. That's like when things got really grim, you know?
Yeah, but there were still people alive because after that they went to the North Pole.
Yeah.
So if their dad was still alive, I don't know. I just feel like I guess maybe there's more to the story. Maybe the zombies were right outside and
Cannibals.
somehow it's cannibals.
Yes.
Sorry.
Maybe, I don't know.
And she knew she wouldn't be able to stop them. I don't know why she's Sue Storm.
I know.
I feel like you got to explain yourself a little bit more than just saying
Nah, one
that
panel.
Sue Storm held out and then gave up and killed her children.
Yeah, right? Weird.
Was that Jean Grey killing all the young X-Men?
That is Sue Storm killing her children. It's just
Sue?
that it's also wrongly drawn.
It's wrongly drawn because she's supposedly suffocating with her powers, but her powers don't look like that.
Nope, they don't. Her suit doesn't look like that.
Her suit doesn't look like that
Her hair
either.
doesn't look like that. Her character doesn't look like that. Oh, also she suffocated her children? You mean Franklin Richards? The person who
Right.
could snap his fingers and actually make this whole thing go away?
Right.
She suffocated him.
Yeah, why would you?
No, there was just no communication between the writer and the artist over what happened in this panel.
Right.
Or maybe it is a different character and he didn't like it. So he changed the character. I don't know.
He's just like, you know what?
You can't have the Phoenix do that.
I actually don't want that to happen. I'm just going to use words that say that a different thing happened.
Yes.
Well, no, that panel is not. That's not Sue Storm and Sue Storm's children. That's unrelated.
Yeah.
That's two different
that looks
children
like the thing
being
that
killed
I'm
by the
describing.
Phoenix.
Yeah. So through it all, you know,
That would be the worst comic book ever. We're like
The words
everything
just don't match the pictures at all.
Exactly. The pictures are just random.
What, you
and you're
just-
just reading a story.
You just described like early Jack and Stan work. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I've read some books like that. It's baffling.
So through it all, while Frank has been hunting supers and doing his thing, he has also been hunting what he calls Zero, or Patient Zero.
He's Zero.
No.
Well, the other one.
No, because like I haven't
No,
eaten
because
anybody.
I became immune. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but the one that everyone saw, like the one that started everything. And it's
right.
like, we're really burying the lead here, but it's clearly Spider-Man.
Right.
And so yeah, Patient Zero is the character that Punisher's been fighting. And okay, you know what? Poetic. Punisher first appeared in a Spider-Man book. Punisher
Yeah.
and Spider-Man are interlinked. You know, Peter and Frank have a completely diametrically opposed moral philosophy, so it's fun to see that flipped. But also, it's not, nor is it really done to any literary degree. It's just, you know, Spider-Man would make some money, so how about he's in there?
Right. How about
How
Spider-Man?
about he's your villain?
Yeah, how about we must have done this before the Disney acquisition because there's no effing way
No, that they would.
that Marvel would be allowed to do anything like this. Despite the fact that Marvel did let Spider-Man do all kinds of crazy shit during Marvel Zombies, but whatever. So at one point, Frank is like roaming the streets and he finds like an odd offering. You know, like there's some graffiti of his classic Memento Mori logo on a wall with a dead person with like their heart carved out.
Oh.
And what he notices on this corpse is that the corpse is not infected. There were humans, or at least there have been recently survivors. And someone, Patient Zero, Spider-Man, caught that person, killed them, and left them to Frank to send a message.
What sort of message? I guess just fuck
Right,
you.
seemingly nebulous, but also significantly important. Frank fights the Hulk, who is also infected. Hulk's got his problematic headdress and Wolverine's severed hand as like a necklace that he wears, which we will see paid off, though I don't think it actually does pay off in the same way, nor is Hulk dispatched in the same way, but whatever. So the idea being that, Punisher's fighting Hulk.
What's he gonna do about
How's he
Hulk?
gonna beat Hulk? And he makes a joke about how Wolverine had indestructible bones, indestructible my ass. Because we also saw that, like, Hulk beat Wolverine and seemingly murdered him and ate him, but he didn't because Marvel Universe versus Wolverine.
Right.
So,
Well, he grew back.
Well, he's only got the hand.
yeah,
Who knows
we
what happened?
know what happens to Wolverine, but in this, we see that, like, he's dead and Wolverine had a broken claw that Frank stole, attached to an arrow, and then fires through the Hulk's eye, killing the Hulk. Frank beat Hulk. That's canon.
Interesting. Would adamantium kill the Hulk?
If you could fire a adamantium claw through his eye and into his brain, why not?
Okay.
If the writer wants it to.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely canon. Is if the writer wants it to.
Otherwise, like, the adamantium would, like, hit him in the eye. He would get irritated, and he'd just get angrier and heal
Yeah, he
from
would just
it
get
eventually.
madder, and
Yeah.
it would like expel it from his head.
Exactly. Yeah. Or it makes him really stupid.
Oh yeah, it might do that.
And then it grows around the
Yeah.
claw. I don't know. I mean, there's any kind of gross thing you could do with that.
Yeah.
Or it kills him and then the green door brings him back to life. So Frank hears some pleading. He hears help please and follows the sound to a church where he finds
I thought it was Bruce Banner inside the
oh
Hulk's
my
body
God,
for a
please
second.
help me. And then he bursts out of it like an alien. That would be kind of awesome. I would like to see that. That's not a bad pitch. Is that like
Kinda like
Hulk
that.
finally dies and
Yeah.
then Bruce Banner emerges from it. Like my subconscious grew a Bruce Banner fetus inside of me after I died and I was reborn.
Or like Ghostbusters. They
Yeah.
come out of the
They come out of the
dog
terror
things.
dogs. Yeah. Because there's no way that Dana and Lewis are physically in those things as humans, just being puppet.
No, there's like a transformation.
There's a transformation within it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like an incubation thing.
The skeletal structure doesn't work. They've
No.
been, like, snapped in half.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even if they were just like in it as an exosuit, they'd be bouncing around, they'd have broken bones, it'd be a
Yeah.
disaster. So Frank finds two survivors in a bunker within a church, and it's a priest and a small boy. So Frank is attacked by Venom, or
Oh.
a version of Venom, who tries to talk to him, but Frank immediately kills him, and it's easy. Because of course it would be Punisher versus Venom. Venom would never give Punisher a run for his money. What are we talking about? The Hulk here? Who would also never give Frank Castle a run for his money? No way!
Well, as we all know,
Frank Castle.
Venom is very susceptible to bullets.
Yes.
For some reason.
He uses a pulse pistol, which fires, some kind of sound or fire or something. It kills him. It doesn't matter. He just calls it a pulse pistol, and it's not bullets, so it's okay. So he dies. The priest is relieved to find Frank, and the child immediately calls Frank Castle daddy, because we got to shotgun all the emotional growth in this book. We got to just, okay, now Frank Castle has a son, except Frank has no business with this kid and doesn't want anything to do with him. But the kid's like, Daddy! And I'm like, no. You gotta wait a whole Aliens movie for Newt to call Ripley mommy. There's no whatever.
This kid is just happy to be away from this priest.
Some other cannibal monsters, we don't even see them because they're silhouetted and we have to have Frank
Right.
be able to defeat them easily. Go give chase. Frank hits them with a bunch of grenades. And then I guess the whole thing comes down on them and they all die because Frank, the priest, and the boy can just wander the streets quietly and with a slow pace.
Yeah, got 'em all.
To chat it up.
Why is the action in this book so boring?
Right.
That's all. That should be the good stuff.
Yeah, this is where it's like, oh, I'm here for this.
Yeah.
You saw him get an adamantium claw through the eye.
Yeah,
you
but
did
in
see
a very
that.
like kind of blasé depiction.
He's talked about, shooting Deadpool a lot.
Yep, which
He
he did,
talked about shooting Deadpool.
and Daredevil, and all the other heroes.
He defeats Venom, and you only see one shot of Venom's body at all.
Yes,
In these, the rest is just like a view of Frank throwing a knife, holding a gun, firing the gun into a cloud of smoke.
I guess the cloud is formed by the firing of the pistol. Like it burns Venom, maybe.
Right? Like,
But who cares about that? We got to move on. And it's like, but
yeah,
this
and then he just
but why?
throws grenades into the camera, and you see the edge of the explosion
As they escape.
As they run from overhead. It's just a view of the ground. I'm like, what are these artistic decisions?
Yeah.
This sounds like Marvel said, don't make it too gory.
Right, but why? Like, why are we in such a hurry to get to the end of this imaginary story? Why are we holding back on the gore for one of the goriest concepts in Marvel Comics? Like, why any of this? And that's why it's so vexing.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, what? And the art, I don't even dislike it.
No,
but the choices,
art is competently done.
This is what I would choose for a book like The Walking Dead, where characters mostly just talk to each other.
Right.
And there's
Maybe that's what they
occasional
want
action.
to do. They're like, no, it's not about the action.
No, they want you to feel Walking Dead. They want to get that feeling in here.
Yeah.
But also, why?
To get that Walking Dead money.
But we did Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, well.
It's written by the Walking Dead guy.
Yeah, but I want to do Walking Dead if it was
More real, more like The Walking Dead, where it's
Yeah.
kind of boring.
Well, I don't want the
Yes.
zombies aspect because then they're dumb.
Right. I don't want to use that. Well, except the zombie Marvel characters have their personalities.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, they just like to eat.
And even these characters still talk and have personalities, except for the ones that don't, but don't worry about that. So Frank and the priest and the boy wander the streets going to Frank's safe house. Frank tries to keep them at arm's length, but the priest persists in talking to him and following him, and there's nothing he can do. And we learn a lot about this priest and what he needed to do in order to survive, and how he found out about the plague and its severity, because the news wouldn't sensationalize the plague. It's really the news' fault for why it got so bad.
Right.
You know, people didn't even really regard it because no one was reporting on it. You
Right.
know, until this priest who ran a soup kitchen noticed that like non-homeless people were going to it and stuff. That like it was just packed. And then suddenly a couple of bird-themed Marvel characters ate someone. And I'm like, really? Like they're all birds? Like we're doing a vulture thing? Obviously the vulture's in there, but also Angel and
Yeah.
Mockingbird. And I'm like, if not
Why
here,
would they-
then never. So I get it.
Right.
But also,
Well, why would those bird characters have gotten together and like teamed up?
right, because they're birds. Because he also talks about like the tribes.
flocking.
Oh, it's because it's a church. They're all one flock.
No, this is, well, that's true. Yeah, all right. Because
Wrong
it is in a soup kitchen.
Type of flock.
But also, like, the tribes break off,
Yeah.
and they, like, go to type. So when Spider-Man forms a tribe, it's only spider characters. Like, Venom is part of Spider-Man's tribe. But I'm like, what? And
Yeah.
also, it's not like all the Gamma characters hung out, because Hulk is a tribe, and there ain't no She-Hulks. What are you talking about?
That's inconsistent.
Yeah. As inconsistent as the virus itself. So we see that, like, you know, the priest had to make some sacrifices. Like, he murdered people in order to survive.
Is this distinct woman Mary Jane?
It is so clearly Mary Jane, it's frustrating. Like, Mary Jane is part of a crowd in a flashback by the priest when things got bad, right? So we see Mary Jane is one of the survivors with the priest. And in fact, when they go to clearly Monk's Diner in Seinfeld, they also retreat in there. But then, when the survivors go to a safe house, Stiltman goes and kidnaps Mary Jane and takes her away from them. Like, this is a little quiet secret story in the background of your main story. But
for those who are in the know.
why?
Is Stiltman a cannibal when he takes her, or he just takes her as Stiltman?
He never
good
appears
question.
again.
Oh, she's just gone?
No. Stiltman never appears again.
Oh, okay.
No. Mary Jane's on the back cover.
I know.
Massaging Frank's leg.
Yeah, we're gonna get more about that.
Yeah, we are. Anyway, so the priest, you know, muses about the nature of God and whether this is his will or not, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, by the time they get to the end of his point, they get to Frank's stronghold, which is made up of severed heads on spikes, a la I Am Legend, to try and, like, ward off or spread his legend.
Right. Yep.
Like, we see this image as a double-page splash in the first issue of
so we already
all
know
these
it's
super
coming.
characters' heads on spikes.
Yeah, it's much more effective.
And it's great, but it's also clearly interpretive because there are characters who have heads on spikes in this scene that also appear later who are not decapitated. So don't see this as real, but literally it's also happening, though. At least later in the book.
Interesting.
So Frank
How
and the
come their
boy...
heads aren't like decayed or anything? Does the virus like preserve the?
Maybe he only killed them within the past couple of days.
Oh, he killed all these heroes in the last couple of days.
And
That's
villains, like
impressive.
Magneto's
And
in
there's
there.
some villains, yeah.
Yep, that's right. Frank Castle
Punisher
killed
killed
Magneto.
Yeah, sure.
Well, listen, we just watched him kill the Hulk and Venom.
Maybe
He uses bullets!
But he also uses like random super
Oh,
guns.
he used plastic bullets. Maybe Magneto like died in a fight with somebody else, and Frank's just like,
And then that way, you see, whoa! Punisher killed Magneto!
Yeah.
We better not mess with him.
He took down an Omega level threat.
I'm the
Yeah.
Constrictor. I'm not going to be able to survive that.
that's because that's how smart Frank is.
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
just a military
He's like,
strategist.
I knew I'd never be able to kill
Magneto.
but
I am an opportunist, and I
Yeah.
will steal his corpse and use his head
Yep.
as like a scarecrow.
I'll make people believe
I
I
fed
did
him
it.
poisoned tinned meat.
Yeah, there we go. So then Deadpool has been reassembled. Frank sees like one of the areas where he dug a grave for a piece of Deadpool was dug up. Though he also remarks that it's not dug up from the inside, so someone released Deadpool. So Deadpool's out there and he's like, oh, Frank, I just want to talk. So Frank shoots him up and then attacks him. He's like, all right, now talk, now that I've got an advantage on you. And he's like, listen, I got 2 words for you. More survivors. So Frank then crucifies Deadpool on like a plank of wood and proceeds to get like the information he needs. And basically that Deadpool has been freed by Spider-Man and that he sent Deadpool as an emissary to Parlay.
Okay. Because he wants Frank to know that he has survivors for some reason.
That there are survivors.
Right.
Because yeah, Frank's like, look, whatever. He's got survivors. They're probably in some kind of like a cattle ranch that are being left for more cannibals. Like you have them. There's no way I'm going to be able to save them. He's like, no. They exist. You can have them if you do me a solid. Like you got to go on a mission for me.
Okay. All right.
So Deadpool reveals to Frank because he's like, what's to stop me from like killing you again? And then killing Spider-Man because I don't care about the survivors, even though I'm literally harboring 2 of them right now, betraying my
His lone wolf.
mode. So Deadpool reveals that Spider-Man's actually in the other room waiting for him.
Oh.
And so when Frank goes in there, Spider-Man has made a big web and he's caught the priest and the child and he's holding the kid.
Dun dun dun.
Also, Spider-Man is depicted as having kind of like a venom tongue. That will go away immediately. That was just for dramatic
He's
effect.
also depicted as being like hulking.
And he is now. He's huge. And that is not explained.
Well, so the protein he's eating.
Yeah, he's just bulking up. That's just smart. That's just science. You can't argue with that.
Yep.
Dude's
You
eating
ate that
nothing
many
but-
people.
Yeah, you are going to bulk up.
Yeah.
Plus he's got all that weight training. He's swinging
Yeah,
around the city and
yeah.
stuff. So it's just
Yep.
it's just protein plus weight training. He doesn't. So Frank threatens to kill Spider-Man. Spider-Man threatens to kill the child, and I've got my hands on his throat, and if
I'll kill him faster than you can pull the trigger.
No. It's if I die, my rigor mortis will kill the child. It's not that cliche.
I see.
Rigor mortis doesn't set in that fast, man.
No. Well, I got spider speed. Whatever.
I have instantaneous rigor mortis. It's one of my powers.
So Spider-Man explains the tribes system, which also has no payoff, and then explains that he has a tribe. He understands that survivors are Frank's tribe. He's like, since the world is broken up into tribes and stuff, and when I say that I mean Manhattan. I'm a Manhattan. That's my realm. You take your tribe. You go after you do me a solid, but I'll give you a tribe. I will basically gift you a tribe of survivors if you do this thing.
I'll give you your weak tribe that you insist on having.
Right.
Of these, puny,
Humans.
pathetic human creatures.
Yeah.
I don't know
Why
why
would
he'd want them, but you
Spider-Man
seem to
give
like
up
them.
his food supply?
Right.
Well, because he wants something more
Because he wants something
important.
in. But that's right. That's right.
Yeah. What is it?
What could it possibly be?
We're gonna find out.
So we see another flashback that is also kind of paid off, but also kind of not, where the heroes fought and Iron Man was trapped in his Iron Man suit. So he becomes a cannibal, but the suit goes into hibernation mode. So he's just a frozen statue. They say he screamed for 5 days. You know what I mean? He just died of starvation within the Iron Man suit. There's a corpse in the statue that now has hilarious pigeons shitting all over it.
I do like the fact that if the suit powers down,
Yes, you're just trapped there.
you can't move.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I like that too.
Yeah.
It's a horror show. Every time I imagine being Iron Man, I'm like, pass. I don't want to wear a heavy coat. This whole flashback takes hours because now they've built a fire. Can you imagine? Spider-Man is a hulking cannibal that Frank has been hunting for over 1,000 days. This dude caused the apocalypse. Well, the two characters right here caused the apocalypse. You know, under threat of child murder, does Frank even deign to listen to him? And they have to break from the flashback to go like, oh, I'm sorry, no, you're not actually doing it right. You got to rub the sticks together. You got to get like more. Does somebody have any lighter fluid? Like, we got to start a fire. How are you going to make this happen?
I love that the priest and the child are unwebbed now.
Oh yeah, no, he pulled
And
them
are
down.
also huddled around the fire.
Yeah, they
with
got a blanket.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And through it all, Spider-Man will like say things about how he wants Frank to do things for him because, you know, we got to save humanity. And Frank's like, why should I care? And like, were you doing that the whole time when you were doing things that definitely required care to
Right.
get to?
I think he's trying to sell the idea that like, no, I'm a lone wolf.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to save people. I'm just trying to survive.
I have no attachments.
Right.
So then Deadpool shows up again. Frank shoots him for fun and murders him some more because every time he shoots him, like, he dies. I'm like, okay, whatever.
So, so Frank is entertaining
Spider-Man's parlay.
Yeah.
That's right.
That wouldn't he just be like, just get to the point? Like, why is he letting all this exposition happen?
Because I don't think Mayberry thinks he's getting more sequels out of this, and he's like, I got to get all this in here. You want to
Right,
see
I
this
gotta
epic
explain the
fight
entire thing.
that will also be glossed over, and also I got to build up the legend of the King of Death. And now they're like, we have another looming threat that's even more powerful and bigger than either of us, who is gonna come in here, and he stole my mate. I have a woman.
The King of Death is Stiltman?
No. Stiltman works for the King of Death.
I see.
That'd be amazing. That'd be a great twist. If it's like, yes, in the age of the zombie, the man who can get taller than all of you is king.
Yeah.
I just
Go ahead and
step
bite my
above
shit.
it.
Yes, I dare
It's
you.
metal.
It's a stilt.
Can't get me up here.
Oh no, they're claiming me!
I only have guns. No, I could die like 8 different ways.
Oh no, there's someone on a building.
Oh, someone pushed me over.
Oh, Thor. Yeah. It just there's enough of them below me to just push off my center of gravity. Be friggin' great. just still been.
Like, oh, I can't lift my legs. There's too many people in the way. I can't even move.
Hey, move!
Curse these legs.
It's got like an air horn. Stop it!
They'll just like drop bricks from high up.
Yeah.
Try and knock people off.
Stop it! Get off of me! That's the deal. Spider-Man has a mate.
Right, he wants
The
Mary
King
Jane
of Death
back.
has taken it. Yeah, it's Mary.
It's right. Yeah, of
course.
Yeah, it's his mate.
Yeah.
Who else would it be? I don't
Right?
understand. Is it supposed to be a secret?
I mean, we're alluding to it, but like
Right.
maybe that was why like Mary Jane is peppered throughout the book in the background of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we want the big reveal, but also we want to own it. We
Yeah.
want to earn it.
But how great would it be if it wasn't married?
Yeah. Right. But it is.
It's somebody else.
Yeah. It's Black Cat or something.
Does he not tell Frank who the King of Death is? He
No.
keeps calling him the King of
No,
Death.
he's like, no, you know who it is just as well as
Oh, I see.
You might not know the cool name we give him, but you are aware of the King of Death, the one guy that neither of us have gotten. So, anyway, he leaves. Spider-Man does. And Frank goes into his quarters, and the priest's like, so when do you go? Like, when are you leaving to go do the thing Spider-Man said? He's like, who says I'm going to do that? He's like, because we're your family. He's like, my family are dead. I
They
buried
died
them.
way before this.
They died
all
way
happened.
before this. They made me this way.
You're not my family. You're random people I found.
Yes. And he's like, look, and the priest kind of like buried the lead before, but he's like, I know you're the Punisher. Like, I've always known who you were. And maybe I did not condone what you did back then. But clearly, if there's a God, and he allowed this world to exist, and he allowed this to happen, and he made you for this. Like, I now get God's strategy for why the Punisher exists, and it's to kill this shit.
Right. For this moment. Okay.
So then he's like, all right, I guess I'll go. So Frank leaves to go, and he bumps into a couple of emissaries sent by Spider-Man via Deadpool to help him out, including the cannibal zombified versions of the Scorpion and Black Widow, and also Deadpool goes along too. And he's like, great, I could use them as like cannon fodder or something.
Why does Black Widow have like tattoos on her face?
Why not? Make her more visually interesting.
She went crazy.
What?
Yeah.
But why only her?
Right. Why not all the women? Or why not all the people?
Or a whole tribe, at least? Anything?
Yeah, right?
To tie it to anything else?
In fact, since she's Black Widow, is she part of the Spider-Man tribe? Do they all have to give themselves like web tattoos? Nope, these are just random, intricate tattoos.
Yeah, you'll never see that again.
So Frank infiltrates the lair of the King of Death and runs into like just a orgy of characters that also would have been killed at any point in either of the two other big superhero / villain flashback fights, but weren't. And he also spies the mate, and it's Mary Jane. He's like, okay, there she is. That's the only redhead in the bunch. So he's like, all right, well, Frank kind of strategizes and explains his plan where he's like, most wars are fought within the first like 2 seconds. Like if I could take out the lieutenants around the prey, around my quarry, or at least around my prize, then I could just swoop in and get it. So he shoots a couple of characters.
Why wouldn't Spider-Man just do this himself? Isn't Spider-Man way more effective than Frank Castle?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, why would he do this? Maybe it's because there are just so many of them. Maybe there's some kind of like an unspoken rule between the cannibals. I don't know.
Like the leaders are not allowed to.
Right.
They can steal each other's mates, but they can't directly confront each other. Like, what?
What?
These rules don't make any sense.
No.
Whoa. They didn't steal my mate. She left, and I'm having to retrieve
that
her.
could be.
And it's not.
No.
No. So Frank kills a couple lieutenants, and then it just becomes a problem.
Oh.
Just immediately he's like, oh, it's a trap. They knew I was coming. Maybe the trap was sprung by Spider-Man, and everyone's all in on, nope.
Oh, no. They just...
Spider-Man's completely on the level.
They just knew that Spider-Man was going to send someone.
Yeah. Well, because they took his mate.
Right. Okay.
So Frank is attacked. All of his team are attacked. I see that Sandman is also one of them, which means that the world is over. Or what if Hydro Man was affected?
Right.
Oh, I'm in the water supply. Everyone's infected now. I mean, just don't think about it.
Is this Batman? Who is this?
That's Black Panther.
Oh.
Black Panther has a cape.
Why is Black Panther... Does he
Sometimes
normally
he
have
has
a cape?
Yeah. When he was first invented, he had a cape.
I didn't know that.
Oh, that's true.
Capes were big back then.
Yeah. And occasionally he will pull the cape costume. And it's like, that's a fun little throwback. I like the cape. It does look like Batman, though. So it goes bad, Everything falls apart. Most characters die, except for Frank. Frank does a couple of nebulous moves, including grenades and other things, but like his team are completely dispatched. So he reaches for Mary Jane to take her out of there, and before he does, he realizes that she is pregnant. And she is not just pregnant, she is very pregnant. She's as pregnant as Gracie. And he's like, oh, she's also not infected.
Oh.
She's just gross.
She's
She's
just gross?
voluntarily mated to a cannibalized Spider-Man.
What?
Yeah.
She wasn't like kidnapped
No.
by Spider-Man?
Is it Spider-Man's kids?
Yes.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, Mary Jane was clearly kidnapped by Stiltman in the flashbacks when she was fighting for her life. But I guess when she was rejoined with Peter, he was really convincing that their society was better than what fell, and so she just lockstepped with it. Even dressed like Shaun of the She-Devil for some
He
reason.
just keeps it on the side.
What?
I mean, he kept Spider-Man a secret for years. He just keeps it a secret that he's a cannibal.
There's no way you can keep it a secret in their little, like, tribal, in their little base with all the monsters, and also him.
Well, she just stays in a room.
So the King of Death is Kingpin.
Oh.
King, get it?
Yeah, King of Death.
I remember being so disappointed.
That is very disappointing.
So lame.
I thought it might be Kingpin, but I was like...
That'd be lame, though.
Yeah. Something more clever.
Yeah.
No, King of Death.
Nope, King of Death, Kingpin.
Because he kills people, you see.
Yeah. Get it? And he had King in the name.
Right.
You could have had a big Black Panther, and it could have been King T'Challa.
Well, also because Black Panther is the King of the Dead. But no, Kingpin. And look, I appreciate the synergy.
I was hoping it was Bullseye.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd be very okay with that.
Because, like, if you're trying to kill people
Right?
who have become, like, cannibalized.
Oh, my God.
Bullseye
Precision is
oh, my God. Boom, dead.
Yeah.
Boom, dead. Boom,
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah. Now that said, Punisher, Spider-Man, Kingpin, yeah.
Yeah,
I get the synergy.
Yeah,
I
that makes sense.
appreciate
They're
it.
characters that go together.
Right.
I like that Sauron is in Kingpin's team.
Yeah.
So random.
It's really random.
Was he in New York?
Right?
Or
did
did
he
he fly
arrive here
from
from
the
the-
Savage Lands to New York? He's like, you know where I'm going? New York. That's where all the action is. I
Yes.
want in on it.
Whoa, this place got great.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay.
So the Kingpin and Frank like fight, and I'm like, you're surrounded by super-powered cannibal
Yeah, but they're gonna like
monsters.
duel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a
He's
gentleman's duel,
mine.
so like
Right.
don't interfere.
Yeah, I guess. So Frank like throws flashbangs at Kingpin. He actually does engage and fight Sauron.
Oh, sweet.
Sauron does get the upper hand because at least that's done right. He's a giant dinosaur man. He is stronger than Punisher. So while Punisher's being defeated by Sauron, the child and priest are kind of like speculating about how Punisher's doing on his mission, and the priest's just like, I don't know. Like every question the child asks, he's like, I don't know. And the kid's like, we got to get our shit together and go save my dad. We got to go do this. And he's like, what could we do? And we see like a pullback of all the weapons that Frank has at his disposal, like at the safe house. Like, it's not even like we could grab any one of these assault weapons that Frank has in his cache and then go rescue him. It's impossible.
I mean,
How old is this
they have to
kid?
fight superheroes.
The kid is
so-
anywhere between 8 and 11, I'm guessing.
Because I was gonna say, like,
He's little.
it's been 6 years,
yeah. No.
or almost.
Now maybe he's older and he's just malnourished. So he's a little littler now. I don't know.
It'd be weird to like grow up in that
Yeah,
time.
he was
Like,
born.
have it be normal.
Yeah,
You know,
that
shortly before it started.
that sucks. Yeah, why is this kid so afraid all the time?
That's all he knows.
Should be normal. So Frank is tied up against like a bedpost that's, set up against a wall. And oh look, Mary Jane is doing the
Yeah,
thing.
she's
the
clutching
thing
his
from
leg.
the cover.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's doing it.
Right, but she's only doing it from fear. She's cowering away from Kingpin.
Huh.
So Kingpin knows that Spider-Man has survivors, or at least that he knows where the survivors are. So his plan is he took Mary Jane so that he could have leverage over Spider-Man to get the survivors that he has.
Oh.
They carve up Frank. Like, they don't kill him, but they torture him.
Okay.
They have multiple men.
I know.
Just have him multiply over and over again and just eat that.
Yeah. That's actually a brilliant idea. Except he's tainted. Maybe they don't eat each other. I don't know. It's not very clear. Now, if you had multiple men before you infected him, and you thought ahead, you might be like, no. I guess they carve the Memento Mori skull into him, so now like his logo is also in his flesh, or something. It's
Okay.
just,
They
grimdark,
just thought that
cool,
would be
and
cool.
Yep. So the priest and the child like dress up. The kid wears one of Frank's Punisher t-shirts, and they just get their arsenal and they go. They are immediately it's like they don't even fight. They just go, oh, good, you're here. And then they just lead them into a prison.
They don't fire a single shot.
Nope, they just arrive, they meet up with all the multiple men, and they're just like, okay, into the pen with some other survivors.
Interesting.
Well, it looks like you have a lot of guns on you. I guess that'll be fine.
Well, you certainly aren't going to use any of them.
Yeah, no, I didn't think so. Yep.
Yep,
Right this way.
Get in there. So Frank's not giving up any information because he's like, I don't care about anybody. You can kill everybody. So Kingpin threatens to kill Mary Jane. Mary Jane actually ends up like hitting Tombstone in the face, who famously can't feel pain. And she steals his knife and then threatens to kill herself and the baby, losing the leverage that Kingpin has.
Ah.
Meanwhile, Deadpool is in a prison cell as well because they can't trust Deadpool, because even though he is one of them, he's working for Spider-Man. Plus, he has played both sides, or at least he will in future versions,
Sure.
in future sequels to
Yeah,
the story.
that makes sense.
And so
He's a loose cannon. You
this
can't
Red Skull?
trust him.
yeah, Red Skull's part of
I see.
Kingpin's crew. But yeah, he's a wild card. You can't trust a wild card.
Why would Red Skull work for Kingpin?
Yeah, why wouldn't Red Skull be where Kingpin is?
Oh my God! The King of Death.
Yes.
He's got the skull,
Oh
the
my
Red
God.
Death. That's perfect.
Actually, then you have two competing skull-based characters too. That'd be. Anyway, so Deadpool has a change of heart and he kills Red Skull and frees himself. Meanwhile, Kingpin just takes the knife away from Mary Jane and then just pushes her over. Deadpool steals the cache of weapons that the idiots that Frank was harboring brought, and he uses it, drops it off in front of Mary Jane and company, and then joins the fray, right? MJ steals a knife from the duffel bag and frees Frank in one of the most egregious action jumped between the gutters I've ever seen panel sequences of my life. Mary Jane is picking up the knife while Frank is tied up. Frank is picking up a gun in the next panel from the duffel bag in almost the exact same POV shot as the previous panel.
And he just shoves her to the side like he doesn't care about her.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Well, he doesn't. Well, she's with Spider-Man, who's a monster.
Yeah,
so.
she's willfully involved in this whole thing.
She's also pregnant, man!
Yeah, but also
yeah.
gross.
Yeah, with a gross
Well, who
monster
knows?
baby.
Who knows? Maybe she. Well, it's been 6 years, so yeah, no, it's definitely a monster baby. So
We don't know if it transfers like that.
we don't.
She's still fine.
We don't. She seems fine. Yeah, that's true. We don't know. We don't know, and we never will.
Thank God.
So yeah, but I'm like, oh come on.
Yeah, that's at least change the angle.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, in the next shot, he was picking up a gun, and then it's just grenade pins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frank just appears. He blows up Hammerhead and Deadpool and other characters, and they just blow up. You know, it's just
Yep.
screw you, huh? And then busts out a whole bunch of weapons, just murders everybody. You know, kills all the cannibals.
Why didn't he
within
do that
Kingpin's
before?
employ. He didn't have all those guns.
Oh.
He had some guns.
He only came with like
He
one
didn't have
gun.
a duffel bag.
He didn't
full
bring
of
his
guns.
duffel bag of guns. Why wouldn't he have brought his duffel bag full of guns if he could have just done this?
Well, that's very true. So he kills everybody, but not Kingpin. And Kingpin is like, I know what you want. You want me to bag a growl? And then he shoots Kingpin in the head. Anticlimactic. Yay. So
Yeah.
Kingpin's dead, but we do get a full page splash of Kingpin being dead because So
Why is Mary Jane so horrified
Right.
by Frank killing all these monsters?
right, you're married to Spider-Man who eats people.
Once again, she could be.
Yeah, she'd be in the dark. So
I know she's not, but
No.
like that would at least make sense.
So they go time jump. Spider-Man is reunited with Mary Jane. Frank gets the survivors.
Oh, look, they're happy.
And
Oh,
they're
wow.
just thrilled. They're hugging and cuddling, and he's like, I'm a man of my word. A man who murders and eats people. And Mary Jane is like, I'm sorry about what happened back there, because like she called him an asshole and like a monster.
I'm
She said
sorry.
you were the monster. You are legend. I mean monster. Oh, because he's like, I don't care, kill her.
Oh,
Who
'cause
cares?
he- yeah.
None of this matters to me. I'm not a man of my word. I don't give a crap.
Right.
So she's like, no, you know what? I was wrong. You're not a monster. You're a good guy. And then Frank proceeds to pull out a gun, much to the horror of the characters with names. Like the priest and Mary Jane are like, no! Spider-Man has a spider sense. Spider-Man can see danger before it happens. And he has famously dodged bullets fired by the Punisher. In this sequence, Punisher then goes like, nah, pulls out his gun, and was like, don't do it! Don't end
What
the
are you
book like
doing?
this! Proceeds to then say, I said I rescued the survivors. I gave my word to you, Padre, but not to him. Shoots Spider-Man in the face and kills him. Spider-Man, what are you doing during this entire sequence?
Yeah,
Right?
it's just
Spider-Man's
standing
doing
there.
the right thing.
He's like,
Yes.
There's a little bit of Peter
Ah.
in there the whole
He's like,
time.
Now that
He's
was
what are
like,
you doing, Frank? Why are you taking that gun out,
You
Frank?
promised you wouldn't. Like, and also, the blocking is a little fucked up. Mary Jane is in Spider-Man's arms. He then pushes Mary Jane into the priest. Like, you're gonna have to move, Spider-Man. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I need
let
to
me
shoot you in the face. Here, okay.
You
Now,
go,
go
no, you
over
go
there.
and now you.
Now, I'm gonna shoot you. Like, what? What?
Well, I
What?
need them to be here now, so I
Yeah.
can draw it like this.
So he shoots Spider-Man, and then Mary Jane, like, cries over his corpse, like, no! And the priest is like, why would you do this? What? And
You
Spider-Man,
had a deal
Spider-Man
with that
had-
monster
He
who eats people.
He did say, like, listen, if you leave Manhattan, like, I have Manhattan, I'm happy here. This is
Right.
my tribe, this is my land. Everyone,
yeah.
if humans leave Manhattan, I will not go after you. But,
Yeah.
like, it's
But
only a
also-
matter of time.
Well, yeah. Also, if I kill you, you won't go after me.
Right. And I'm the Punisher. That's, like, always an option for me.
But the priest is really upset. That
And the
he-
priest's like, why would you do that? And he says, I don't make deals with monsters. And the priest says, the only monster I see is you. So then Mary Jane leaves on a boat with the survivors. It's not even like she's.
Well, yeah, where's she gonna go?
There's a tribe of spider people, I'm assuming, right?
yeah, but she only
seems pretty
like-
cool.
She only likes Spider-Man.
Right,
She's
right.
like, that's my husband.
Yes.
I don't care if he's a monster.
Right, yeah.
But if it's not him, I don't want to be with a monster.
Yeah.
But no.
But no.
If you were with him as a monster who eats people, you do not care about
You
people
live
being
there
monsters.
now. That's in your world.
Yep.
You've gone into
No,
that
you don't
realm.
understand him the way I do.
Okay.
He's not really a monster.
Well, now she's on the boat and she's
You
leaving.
can't go back up that waterfall.
No, you can't. That's right.
He wasn't like the rest of them,
So,
somehow.
Manhattan is now an island just for monsters.
And I'm one of them.
Right, of course.
Uh-huh.
And pulls out his gun like, now it's hunting season. I'm back to doing that. Like, okay. Whatever.
So crappy.
It's so lame. Like, I get it. And listen, when you're reading it in a vacuum and you're like, and it comes out of nowhere, like this book just appears and you're like, it was Marvel Universe versus Punisher. Whoa. And maybe you're a big
don't
Frank
ask a lot of
booster and you don't ask a lot of
questions.
questions. Then this is dope. Look at all these.
Frank's a badass.
Frank's cool, and all the Marvel heroes are a bunch of chuckleheads, and watch him just pick apart. Listen, you guys glazed Punisher versus the Marvel Universe by Garth Ennis, but you guys have all kinds of problems with Mayberry's version, and it's like,
Yeah.
I find that to be derivative and dumb too. Okay.
But there's better ways to do it. You're going to be more forgiving of material that has like contrivances if there's like other good stuff happening.
Or at least some
right?
cool shit.
Yeah.
But even the cool shit is like, well, wait,
It's not actually that cool.
let's not show that.
Yeah. Defeating Spider-Man by shooting him in the face is...
It's like, what, you ran out of ideas?
Yeah.
You
If it-
just didn't know how to end it?
don't make it Spider-Man if you're going to do that.
Yeah,
If
but it has to be
if
Spider-Man,
the
it
whole
has to
thing
be
is that like
poetic.
Frank goes back on his word, oh my God.
Daredevil. You make it Daredevil.
Yes. Yes.
Right? And you make
Even Daredevil would be like, what do you really... But at least he doesn't have precognition.
Yes, but if you make it Daredevil, then you could make the mate either Karen or Elektra. And if you make it Elektra, maybe Elektra just is nuts. And so she's like, yeah, no, this is my world. I'm
That makes a
thrilled.
lot more sense.
Then it's
I
like,
was gonna
whoa.
say, like, what if it was someone who wasn't made into a virus monster,
Yeah, no.
but just was kind of fucked up?
Just loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that would.
And then it's like, but that person was a human. Like, they were a human. You can't kill them. But it's like, no,
Yeah.
a monster's a monster.
Right. But it would be more marketable, I guess, if it's Spider-Man. But how can you market this? Ladies and gentlemen, you've got to pick up this book, and all you Spider-Man fans are going to be really lining up to pick it up
Right.
because Spider-Man is depicted as a monster who speaks in sentence fragments and eats human flesh. You're going to love it.
What if it's not Peter Parker? You get the tongue.
Right, right.
What
it's
if it's Venom?
Except we killed Venom to make sure that you knew it wasn't.
No, that was like anti-venom or something.
That was
Yeah,
one of the other
it's one of the
Venoms.
many viruses. Or it's Carnage.
Sure.
Because even though Carnage doesn't have a tongue, they threw that away long ago, and so he does.
So now he does.
But Carnage does not have a tongue. He has, in my head canon, a black void. His mouth is a black void. He doesn't even have teeth.
Right.
His mouth approximates the
jagged
shape
the teeth,
shape
yeah.
of teeth. Yeah.
Yes, Carnage is like a two-dimensional creature. Like I love Carnage.
So to explain why he's so bulky,
Right. He's
Right,
Venom.
because he's
Yeah.
not Spider-Man.
Right. Exactly. Or he's a symbiote or something. Yeah.
and that's not Mary Jane.
And that's just not Mary Jane.
Yeah, no,
That's
of
the only
course.
way to explain that.
Right.
The destruction of Mary Jane's character is like,
Egregious.
it's egregious. Also, she's like scantily clad.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and she's pregnant.
And she's
like
pregnant. I'm like, what fetish is this?
all of them.
Yeah. It's just
It's gross.
it's just gross. The whole book's gross.
But I wanted to cover this because now it's over.
It's done. We can't do it
Did
anymore.
it. We can't do it again.
Yeah,
Never gonna
it can
be a
never be
redux of
done
this.
again.
We did all three completely out of sequence.
Yep. Completely out
We
of
did
sequence.
Wolverine, Avengers, and Punisher. Completely out of sequence. I think we liked other versions, but I remember the second time we did it, you guys were like, I planned not to do the rest. But that was like, wait, you know what? Let's end it.
End it.
Let's end it here.
I don't understand. For the life of me, I do not understand why this got 2 more.
There
books
was
in the
an
same
audience.
universe.
People were like, gimme more somehow. I guess. I don't know.
I'm just looking for somewhere in here where they call her Mary Jane.
Right, they don't. No one says Mary Jane.
Maybe it's not Mary
It
Jane.
is.
I know it is.
But it's like plausible deniability. No, he shacked up with some other redhead.
Yeah, yeah. And she just refers to him as her husband.
Yeah.
He replaced
Because
her.
they got like
They got
cannibal
married.
married.
Yeah, they got cannibal married. He was like, Mary Jane died.
Oh yeah, no, I
but
ate her.
I replaced her. But I replaced her with another one.
Yeah,
well,
with a-
she wouldn't accept. She was like, no.
yeah.
You know.
Right?
So I found someone who was like likes me for who I am. now.
Yes, for who I am now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You know. Love
Yeah,
when you're
what
red.
other crazy redheads are in the Marvel Universe?
Crazy redheads? Like Jean?
I mean, there's Black Widow who went nuts.
Yeah, Black
Yeah.
Widow would have been fine with that. I don't know. There's no point in saving it. It's unsalvageable.
No.
It's also like 10 years removed.
I like the fact, I like my idea that Peter's just like, I need to die.
Right. That he set this whole thing up as like an elaborate suicide attempt. Like, suicide by Punisher.
That would at least
just like-
explain why he didn't stop Frank
I-
from shooting him.
I need her to be safe because she's not infected.
Yes.
There's a chance that maybe my baby isn't either.
Right. Yeah.
But if I go
Right.
against Kingpin, it's over.
Right, yeah. He'll
Tribe
kill
against
me.
tribe, it's
She'll
over.
be killed. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I send you in, you bring her out, great.
Yes, and then you'll kill me
And
because
if
you
you
can't
kill
help
me,
yourself.
great. And I'll just stay in the path of the bullet. I'll fight every instinct I have.
Yeah, I'll use my Haitian powers on my feet to just plant myself like a tree. I kind of love that.
Yeah, but why wouldn't he have just like sent her and the survivors away at any point
She
prior?
would never let me go. She let me knock her up.
She loves me too much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but
I
if I'm
tried
not
to
in the
send her
picture
away
anymore,
1,000
she'll
times.
have to find a new life.
Right.
And I mean, like, this version of him wasn't wrong. That's giving this book a lot of credit. But
A little too much.
I love it. That is my headcanon for this book if I want to save
That
it.
is better.
It's better.
What's worse is when the babies, because there's going to be multiple babies.
Oh, where it's twins.
Oh yeah.
Oh, not twins. I'm talking
No.
like a whole little brood,
Oh,
like
no.
eggs.
It's gonna
They
be
just
like
eat
it's gonna be
their
like
way
spider-
out of her.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I think that, like,
Yeah,
She's
ruined
gonna
it.
lay eggs.
yeah, I think the reason why she is so pregnant, besides the fact that, like, someone was getting off to it, is that we want to establish that it's not going to eat her. Because, like, no, it's
No,
clearly
it's a regular
there.
baby.
It's a regular baby.
See.
At least that's their implication. But again, we never see any result of it. By the way, I don't think that this is collected. Like, there are these volumes, but like nobody went like, oh, here's the Versaverse. Like all
Right.
3 volumes in one collected edition, so you could just enjoy the experience in one big go. I don't think so. If it is in the comments, but otherwise I'll put this volume in the comments. I don't even know if it's in print. I mean, I can't imagine why Marvel would allow that. I'm amazed at how often the Trial of Galactus goes out of print, and yet this remains. So enjoy. See you guys next week with another episode. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
Oh, Ben,
Keep reading.
maybe not this.
Here are some things that I do like about it.
Yeah?
Here's a compliment sandwich. I do appreciate the fact that it is printed on black paper.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I also appreciate that it comes with a little script sample. So you can get a taste for Jonathan Mayberry's scripting and writing.
Oh.
I also appreciate the cover designs are also in here, despite the fact that they do depict cultural appropriation and exploitation.
Yeah. I kind of want to see the scripting for some of the Mary Jane panels.
Yeah. Yeah, I
wondered
agree.
if it's gonna be like the Frank Miller scripting for fucking
And
Oh my
go
God,
all
Mr.
out.
Batman.
Yeah, we are gonna be
I'm
splooging all
shameless.
over this book, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta make sure her belly is front and center. Stick her in like a Sacagawea outfit.
I want Red Sonia, but all loincloth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Weird.
Who edited this?
Weird.
You know, had Frank
Oh,
like left explosives places,
yes.
and then like, I don't know, maybe nuked Manhattan,
Right.
Done anything
right.
clever?
Yes.
Maybe.
where it's
Yes.
like you can't escape it. You can't web swing your way out of it.
Absolutely. No, I love that idea. I love the idea that like he just needed to know where he was, and so then he gets the nuke, somewhere in the subways underneath his base. That'd be great.
The kid brings it in.
Oh my God. There we go. Yeah. I got a very special plan for you, kid. Son. Ugh.